Hey guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about an album. I know a long time ago I figured out, I was like, I'm going to start doing these music reviews, and I'm not going to do album reviews. I did a few. If you go back to the beginning of my playlist of music reviews, I did actually start doing album, and I think that I might go back to that. The reason for this is that I can turn on music, find an album, just turn it on, go to new releases, and throw it on, listen to it, and I can just listen to the album and see what I like. Now, I have been picking albums that have like 14 songs or more on it, and it's kind of annoying. Um, so I'm kind of hoping I find some albums like I'll probably go back and listen to some older CDs and stuff like that, and start reviewing them. But I won't completely step away from reviewing bands because I do think that's kind of a good thing to do as well, just as an overview kind of as bands. But to go back and review the albums, I think it's very, very interesting. Now, I did do a complete review on Metallica, and they have a new CD coming out. So I'm really, really interested in doing that review when it comes out, or if it comes out on Spotify. But I did review an album and today, so let's get right to it. Um, and I think the album is called, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I will put the correct album title in the title. So yeah, I believe it was Lynyrd Skynyrd, and the album was called "Last of a Dying Breed." I think that's what it's called. If it's like I said, I'm probably wrong, but I'm trying to remember what the album's called, and I think it's called "Last of a Dying Breed." And this one came out in 2015, I believe, or if not, if I'm wrong on that, it's 2013, but I'm pretty sure it's 2015. Now I did want to start doing the Lynyrd Skynyrd albums and reviewing, so I will be going forward. I'll be trying kind of somewhat to focus on them. As I start doing these album reviews, I will probably go back to them very, very shortly. Probably within like 4 or 5 videos, I'll probably be back on Lynyrd Skynyrd talking about the next album. Um, and the thing I want to talk about is I'm not going to review the live albums. I'm not going to review the greatest hits albums. Um, I might make mention of them in some of the videos. Um, but yeah, and I don't think I've really reviewed Lynyrd Skynyrd as a whole. So this album is the first time I've reviewed it. So I kind of want to tell people that if you've ever heard of Lynyrd Skynyrd and you know Sweet Home Alabama, you know Give Me Three Steps, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what albums they came off of originally because they've been on multiple albums now. Um, as like bonus tracks, as bonus live tracks and stuff like that. Um, but this album was a pretty decent album, the last studio album from this band. And this band is kind of like a legacy band where the original members have changed so many times. You know, the lead singer passed away years ago, really a long time ago. And I think they did a good job at keeping I guess the passion for the band alive. And I think without a doubt that this album definitely has it there. But also, it's trying to kind of modernize the band. That's kind of where I get lost because I don't really think they need to modernize the band, to be quite honest. I think they should focus on keeping it the way it should be. And I think they should honestly try and find like older recording things and stuff like that to make it sound like that. And I think they should go in that direction because that's what they're there for. People are going to go to Lynyrd Skynyrd for their old stuff. So in order to get fans to kind of jump on board and to continue to keep on listening to their newer stuff, they need to keep sounding like that. And they're trying to sound like honestly, like at some point I thought I was listening to like uh I'm trying to think of a band because they sounded like really like I want to say like Hinder or something. Like they sounded like a modern band, like on a couple of the songs on the CD, and I don't remember the songs hardly at all. But there was some really like if I had this like I think there was I want to say there was 14 songs on here, and then there's also which I'm not gonna put this in the title or anything. I was just gonna discuss it. But I believe there is like three or four more tracks on the special edition. And three of the four of those like were really really good. So if you're gonna buy this album, if you find the special edition, I would just buy that. If you're downloading it, just buy that version because it's probably better. You get more. You get like three or four extra tracks with it too. Um, but going by the original version, it's probably about a split down the middle. Like half the songs are really really good, and the other half of that was them trying to modernize themselves, and it just didn't work out. Like I just didn't like them. They were decent songs, but they weren't that great. They also had some ballads in there that I just wasn't a fan of. Just wasn't that good. And I've heard some of their newer stuff, and it's usually pretty decent. But these ballads on this CD just were not that good. They just weren't good at all. I think there was one song that was really good. There was one ballad. I take that back. That was really good. I think it was called "Flying High" or something like that, or "Every Day" or I don't know, something like that. Like "Flying High" or "Every Fly" or something like that. "Fly Above" or something to that effect. It's really good. If you listen to it on Spotify, you'll know what I'm talking about when you get to it. That's actually a pretty good song. Um, but yeah, like Leonard Skinner, this album, Last of a Dying Breed, is definitely worth checking out. But if I was going to buy an album, this wouldn't be the album to get for Leonard Skinner. I would probably pass on it just because it's kind of not that great of an album. If I had to give a letter grade, it would probably be like a C minus compared to other albums. Because if I'm going to compare albums, I'm going to compare it to all their catalog, and this would probably be like a C minus. It would be on the bottom scale of the CDs that I would probably pick up. Um, I mean, if you're gonna rate the live albums, which I told you I'm not really gonna discuss them, they're probably gonna be on the B plus or the B minus because you've already heard the songs and they're just gonna be live, and you can buy the songs probably on a cheap CD for very cheap compared to buying the live CD, which is probably gonna cost more just because it's live. They're gonna think people want to buy it, which if you have 10 live CDs out, I'm sure you're not, unless you're like a huge Skinner fan, why would you be buying like all the live CDs? I don't understand that. Um, but they do incorporate like the newer songs and the older songs in together, trying to get people to like the older songs, which when I get to the album, I really, really like. I'll tell you that because I think it's Vicious Cycle, I want to say. I could be thinking of another band. But I think there's one something called or Red, White, and Blue, something like that. It's called. I know there's a couple albums that are kind of recent that I really really enjoyed from them, and they were really good albums um, from the incarnation of Lynyrd Skynyrd. And like I said, they've changed over time. They have different members come in and out. I think there's only, if I'm thinking right, the last time I heard, the last remaining member of the from the original band has now left if I remember correctly. But up until I think 5 years ago or so, he was still in the band, which that's an amazing feat. Seeing that this band is from, I believe, like the late 70s or early 70s, I'm thinking. Coming from a band that was on Woodstock, for God's sakes. I mean, seriously, this band was at Woodstock. And from that band, the legacy to last this long, it's pretty tremendous. So, Last of a Dying Breed, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're a Skinner fan, it may have some songs on there to check out on Spotify. Download the good songs. The other songs, just don't download because they're probably not good. Why would you download songs that are crap? If you don't like them. But who knows? You might like them, but some of them were just kind of like meh, nonchalant. They just weren't that good. They were just songs, and they didn't impress me very much. It's just like some local band wrote them. And they weren't very good. It just seems like they were. You can tell that they might have been filler songs, like they had in their back pocket. They're like, oh yeah, let's throw this one on there. We got to put something on there, or we want to give them more tracks on the CD. So they just threw it on there, and I just wish bands would just stop doing that because why would you put a crappy song on there that is not that good? To me, listen to your music. If you know it's not good, don't put it out. If you think it's like halfway decent, put it out. But if you don't think it's decent at all, why put it out? Like you listen, like you know what good music is. You're a musician for God's sake. Listen to it. If you don't think it's good, don't put it out. It's that easy. That's how music works. Like I don't understand how these bands like put out this kind of music. Like, do they like the music? Like, do they have blind friends or deaf friends? Blind friends. I guess don't matter than blind friends. Deaf friends who are telling them that they're like their music's good when they're just trying to be nice to them. It's like, don't be nice. This is the music business. You don't want to be doing because they're not going to get money from it if people don't like the music. You ding dongs. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Lynyrd Skynyrd, Last of a Dying Breed. If you've heard of the album and you heard what it sounds like, if you went back and listened to it and come back to this video, tell me what you think about it down below in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, as always. And as always, keep rocking.